I, I am an artist that is really interested in social issues. People sometimes make analogies and say, he's a political artist. I say yes, but essentially I'm a guy to try to live in his time. Our time is so difficult in social issues, and I'm interested in playing with that. I say sometimes that I work about problems, and it's very easy to continue to work because each day I have another problem. I know the necessity of create typologies for explain art or explain certain moments of, and when I arrived to the market in 2003, I was immediately identified about a political artist. I remember that at this time I accepted that immediately. I say, of course, for me politics is everywhere, every day, in the Greek sense of the term, is everywhere, and I am a citizen, and I need to talk about it. After, I was a little more critic, because technically all the time, from the moment that you are considered a political artist, they put you in one border of the political art. You are an activist and you are a left side guy. I am a socialist. I consider myself a socialist. But it's a kind of reduction that I don't like. No? Politics and social issues are so complex that it's very difficult to say I am completely in one border and I don't understand, for example, market or financial issues or global new political issues. People say probably I work in something that I really know. I was born in Peru, not in Lima, in Yurimaguas, a little place in the rainforest that is actually in the map only for the last 45 years. I was a diplomat. I was a soldier sometimes. I was living all over the world because I was working in crisis solutions all over the world for more of 12 years. And in one moment I decided to be an artist. My background is political science and law. And one day I decided that it was important to me to change my life and try to be an artist. We only have one life, and if I don't live mine, I have a problem. And I was so protected in the diplomatic way, but it's not real life. You know, when I am not interested in money or status, and diplomacy is going in this direction. I was more interested in ideas, and like a lot of middle-class people, I was so scared to don't arrive to make my living. I studied law and political science and try to be like an immigrant, very integrated in, for example, in French society, and make exactly the move that the people expect that a good citizen, a good student, a good intellectual make. But was all the time the necessity to be nice. And in one moment, I decided to going out of that and really talk about what I really need to talk, and not only about my orders. What diplomacy is something that you make what the people tell you to make. And in art, I have the right to talk about my real interests. I think at the other time, I tried to be very sincere with myself, and I discovered that the angriness that was evident at the beginning of my career was something to do with my relation with my native country from Peru. I am a guy and it's sad to tell now, because I am adult. I have very complex relation with my color, with my family, the problems to have my family, to have a white father and a brown mother, and the social impact that had it in Peruvian society at the time. And there was very, very conflict. That changed a lot, but at the time there was racial issues was something important. That provoked that I was very interested in black culture. That provoked be interested about my Jewish roots too. Try to understand why I was so sensitive to that. No? Now it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's evident a problem, but it's not like 45 years ago. And that was the beginning. I was so proud when you invite me because your thematic was absolutely great. I think so you make the show that there was a necessity to make for explain what was the situation and what artists work in this way. Now, this work, I originally make it for the Venice Biennale in 2003, and at the time, because I was all the time interested in art, I think that especially in these biennales, is people see the shows and sometimes they don't conserve image or material of something. They conserve only the very visual stuff, the very big or the very strange material. And I was so interested in communicating that I decided I was interested to work with paper. And I asked how many visitors they expect at the time. And Bonami told me that there was more of 255 people. And I decided to edit in 235 papers with the intention that each person to go into the Biennale take one and going home. And in this way, I try to penetrate the situation and interest the people maybe in my work or in the different places I talk. It's something that after I decided to continue, I won the Wenju Biennale in 2005, I think so, with another paper that talked about Africa. And all the time I think that Biennale is perfect moment for make delicate, complicated works that they are practically gifts. And because art is a gift. The work is called Survival Guide for Demonstrators, and essentially is the analysis of some cities in Europe and all over the world. In each city, I make a completely analysis of the situation, where is the best place to demonstrate, try to discover why, how going, how identify, how work with the police, how manipulate the police, how manipulate the media. I offer sometimes address for the people for write letters and try to talk. For example, here we have the personal address of Jean-Claude Juncker, the president of Europe. And we have some critics about Istanbul, some about La Habana. I try to talk about where is, for example, here I say that the day of somebody other than Fidel going and make a demonstration in Place de la Revolution is probably the moment of democracy arrived. And this is the idea. After I explain, for example, in this version, we talk about Paris, we talk about America, how to avoid getting shot by a police officer. I explain how is the exactly reaction that we need to have when you are, especially when you are Latino or black in front of an American officer. And legal concept, best way to dress. I make a little version about Toronto with a lot of respect and try to talk. And I ask the people to Toronto, this is a new version, to send me material because I talk about the carding policies in Ontario, the Bill C-51, the old pipeline projects and the environment problems here. And it's the idea. It's talking about serial issues, but offer information in a very simple way, because I discovered that the people have a digital culture. They need to be fast. They need to have a very, have the impression that they have a lot of information. And the best is have very clear information in a very nice way, very simple, and sometimes funny. And I was interested to talk in politics about serial issues in a very simple way. All the time, at the beginning, all the time is something that really interests me. Imagine Brussels. For the first time in humanity, more of 20 countries have one place with all the power centralized in this place, and with the obligation to make a meeting of presidents, of chief of governments, whatever, one time a month in this place. is terrible situation for Belgian people because the city is completely controlled for 1 week, but all the power is centralized that in a neighborhood that is little like El Centro de La Habana. There's some streets. And it's the best way to go in to demonstrate, going there and try to talk. And you have near the International Press Center, the bigger of Europe, more of 5,000 journalists in one corner. Is an incredible way to going and inform and make a press release and going there. And you have the clients there. Each time that the people come to demonstrate there, they are observed. And I was interested to go in there and offer information to the public. For example, I offered the information that European civil servants have the obligation to refuse a citizen to represent a professional group. And people don't know this kind of information. And it's very interesting talking about some cities. I really try to play with cities and situations and problems that interest me, and from that I build in my. For the original version, I travel. That was a very strange. Normally, the people going and make a world tour of beautiful places. I make a world tour of problems and going and identify. During 2 weeks in 2003, I traveled.